Richard. Welcome to the 40 Views Virtual Holosys Studio. I'm going to present to you right now the Holosys system all around us.
Bonjour and hello.
The Holosys is complete.
Thank you for coming to our presentation. What you're seeing here is a virtual twin recording I made of myself in volumetric video. Let me turn down the volume a bit so we can not be disturbed by that sound. I made this recording recently in our studio in France, and I'm presenting, in this case, our main product, the Holosys. Let me show it to you a little bit differently to give you a feel for the 3D. Here's a view of that as a shaded bunch of geometries. Here's the same sequence with a normal map idea. Here it is as a wireframe. And let me bring this back to an unlit mode and see if we can capture the gaze. Right about there, I think. In this recording, I have used multiple spots in the studio. And so the gaze does move around to a variety of points in the space in case there are multiple audience members. But you can see we are able to capture gaze with a virtual twin or a digital representation of myself in volumetric and be able to use that in a digital experience. Okay. Let me change to a more classic mode of presentation. So my name is Richard Broadbridge, and I'm with 40 Views in France. And today I'm going to present to you about representing people in VR. For us, the answer to this question is quite simple. The answer is you should use volumetric. Volumetric video as a way of capturing people and bringing them as they are into VR, AR, and other digital experiences. To give you a bit of background, 40 Views is an independent startup created in France's Silicon Valley in Grenoble. And we provide the Holosys, which is a volumetric capture system, to studios wishing to do this kind of work. Secondarily, we also provide capture services to content creators using our own Holosys studio. And the reason we do this is because VR and AR environments are fundamentally empty of people that we care about. We've experienced the power, and I've seen it myself. Early on, I saw it myself in an experience in a cave. The real power of having an actual person, a person you know, in front of you as a digital representation of themselves in some kind of interactive content. So having acknowledged the power of that experience, we set our goals to help entrepreneurs create premium volumetric capture studios and thereby to provide content creators with access to the best quality volumetric capture today in the market. For those of you who haven't had the opportunity yet, a studio in volumetric often looks like this. This is our studio in Grenoble, France, where we do our work and our research. And you use a studio like this with this rather large rig to make this, essentially. For those of you who are unfamiliar with volumetric, on the left hand in the background, you can see a single frame of the video in which we're showing you the three-dimensional shape or the geometry or the mesh of, in this case, the three captured subjects of the Greybeard music band. And on the right-hand side, you see a different frame where we have put back in the texture and color information, giving you the full rendered image of those three musicians. So what I've brought for you today for this presentation are some examples of a number of use cases of how we're seeing people use volumetric, using digital twins of themselves, of artists and other key people in quite a variety of digital experiences and with a lot of different kinds of messages around that. So to stay in the music industry, these are some examples from Asia that I chose. They're all music videos. On the top one, we're seeing a lot of special effects being done thanks to the filming of the artist in Volumetric. On the right-hand side, you're seeing the use of a digital copy or twin of the artist being used in numerous places in the same scene, creating an action that unfolds in parallel on sort of a carousel-like structure. The bottom video is quite interesting in that the artist was in Japan at the time of the start of the pandemic, was then required to stay there due to the travel restrictions. However, the video was going to be made in Los Angeles. So in this case, the performance was filmed in one of our partner studios in Tokyo, and the performance was shipped as volumetric video to Los Angeles, where the rest of the experience was created around the performance. With these videos, we're seeing pretty good results. They're quite successful. We've seen a lot of cases of 10x improvement of both viewership and interaction in social medias. This is an example I've spoken about previously. I won't go over it in great detail. This is the 360 film called 7 Miracles done by HTC. For those of you who haven't had a chance to see it, I still recommend it because the film is shot in 360, so it's a 3DOF experience. But the miracle moments were done in volumetric. And so you're allowed to transition from 3DOF to 6DOF in the film to experience these miracle moments. And it really is a powerful storytelling moment. You're really breaking through the screen as you change from being a participant, so being a viewer, to being a participant. It's kind of like, as we've seen in other films, the fictional films, stepping out of the seat where you're sitting into the film itself. And so for those who haven't seen this, I recommend this film just for viewing the moment of changing from 3DOF to 6DOF and what that transition can bring to the storytelling experience. It's very powerful. In the world of fashion, before the pandemic, and certainly more in the past year or so, we've seen volumetric and digital twins of people, of models, and of fashion, and of designs being used to deliver the design and the creativity through VR and AR experiences. This allows people to really take all the creativity and the emotion in designs and transport them into the worlds of the audience members. As you can see here in a number of different settings, a VR setting, an AR app, and so forth. So really we're able to transcend the travel barrier and deliver things directly into the environment of the audience member so they can really experience what has been created by the fashion designer. In the world of culture and education, there have been numerous projects that we've seen taking place around the world. One of our favorites is the one on the right. This is the Serifab Institute, where we're capturing the art of glass making. What you're seeing there is a simple AR demo done in the office, but the character, the artist, the artisan working there, is working on a small black stick, it looks like. It's a piece of glass, and he's heating up the middle, the white spot in the center, and that's the shape that he'll be transforming into the desired final glass product. Staying in this culture and education area, another example of the Serifab is on the right as well. You see someone working on building a stained glass window. And so through this technique, we're able to capture the work of artisans from the past and today and transmit this to new generations in the future. Another excellent example of this is the top left, where the ITRI in Taiwan has made a very interesting piece about a similar piece in that it focuses on the art of sword making, traditional sword making. So through a presential experience, the audience members are able to be present and experience the craftsman, the forge, the tools, and all that goes into making a historical sword. From the world of Air France, we have a presentation of their business class and economy plus class tickets and the services that are delivered with those. In this case, we're using Volumetric and these twins made of the stewards and stewardesses who were filmed in studio as part of a product presentation. And the important factor here really is that the product itself, the service being delivered, is essentially linked to the high level of quality and training that all the Air France stewards and stewardesses have. And without them, really, you have a very different experience. So the human here really is the essential core of what is being delivered, and hence we're using virtual and digital twins of these high-level employees being presented with the experience in VR and AR to the customer. From the world of training, we did a piece with the Red Cross, and here we are focusing on first aid training for those who need to prepare themselves for an emergency situation. What we're seeing in this rather technical video, where we're also displaying some of the features of our viewer, we're seeing a situation where real people, the presence of real victims on the floor and a trainer will help drive the engagement of the participant. Here, the human element is very rich and really brings home the importance of understanding how to do these movements and to use them at the right time. So those are several use cases I've shown you from Volumetric and how we can create virtual twins of people using this technology. We'd like to invite any of you to try out some virtual twins for yourself. What would you do if you have access to virtual twins? Well, you can go ahead and have a look at that and start thinking about your own post-shooting or post-production pipeline. On our website, we provide a bunch of data samples, a bunch of plugins, for example, for Unity and Unreal, tools for WebVR and 3JS, and some tutorial videos. And all this is free, and it's on our website so that you and any content creator who you know who wishes to get their feet wet, get their hands wet, jump in and start working with these materials, can go ahead and try that out using the materials that are available on our website. And finally, I come to, it's a comment about our studio. On the left, you see a map of the world where we indicate the studios that we work with and that we partner with. We've had a growing number of studios over the years, including this year, but happy to say that despite the pandemic, the number of studios out there and available to content creators is increasing. Numerous people give us a call about setting up their own studio, and I'd like to talk briefly about our studio. Our studio, our Holosys in Grenoble, France, is running as a successful studio. And in some ways, it's kind of amazing that it is, because our studio is hidden away in the French Alps. We live in a city that has no airport. And frankly, we're too far from the main highways of travel of the world for A-level talent to come and visit us. It's simply too far for them to make the investment to come all the way to Grenoble, France, from Los Angeles, from New York, from Asia, even from other parts of Europe. So despite all this, our studio is operating successfully. And in addition, we spend most of our time doing research on Volumetric anyway. So we're quite convinced that a well-planned studio activity in any large city will do well. And by working towards this goal of building more studios in more cities, we'll be able to enable more content creators to tell great interactive stories about real people. So thank you very much. I hope this is worthy of your time, and I'll be available after the session to answer any of your questions at the end of the conference. Thank you very much.